Let me just explain, whoever you are out there, if you know Curtis Sliwa, the only way you get me out of this race before November 4th is in a coffin, in a pine box, and you bury me 6 feet under the ground. And people know the Gottis and Gambinos tried that in 1992, and it didn't work. And this won't work either. Be prepared to see Curtis Sliwa on the Republican line in November 4th and the first ever Protect Animals line. I don't care how many candidates are in the race. Look, we wouldn't be in this situation. People wouldn't even know who Zohran Mamdani is if Eric Adams had fairly been a successful Democratic elected mayor who beat me the last time and would have been the incumbent. And it would have been me versus Eric Adams round 2. The reason that Zohran Mamdani was able to come out of nowhere and excel amongst Democrats is because they were so disgusted with Eric Adams. Republicans don't trust him. Democrats don't want him. He is corrupt. By the way, he should be in jail. If not for Donald Trump, he would be a cellmate of Bobby Menendez right now. Go Bars Bobby Menendez. And he should have been in jail. But the fact that he's out and has been given a new opportunity, you're not going to change Eric Adams. I've known him for 42 years. I'll make him this deal. I'll offer him a compromise. I become the mayor, and I'll make him the only thing that he really did well, the nightlife mayor, and he can party to the break of dawn. Well, I don't talk to President Trump on the phone. I haven't been to Mar-a-Lago or went to Washington. He seems to talk to Eric Adams. Look, he saved him from going to prison. I understand that. And I've had a love-hate relationship with Donald Trump over the years. In the last election, I voted for him, and I encouraged people to vote for him. But I am like a typical New Yorker. I'm mayor. I represent all the people in New York City. I'll be respectful to the president. But if he's trying to do something that I think is harmful to New York City residents, I'm not a puppet like Eric Adams. I will stand up and respectfully disagree and say, Mr. President, let's have a conversation. One real New Yorker to another real New Yorker. If it comes, that's fine. If it doesn't come, remember, I ran the last time. I was not endorsed by President Trump. He did not endorse Eric Adams. He basically stayed out of the race. He's got enough issues to deal with. Ukraine, Russia, Iran, obviously his beautiful bill, and everything else that he's got on his plate that has geopolitical significance. Who's the next mayor of New York City should be last on his priority list. I'm the Republican candidate running for mayor. My vision is very clear. Law and order, quality of life. Nobody has the credentials that I have in that field over 46 years of dealing with crime and dealing with the problems that have driven people out. And obviously, what is key to so many people, affordability, a place to live that you can afford, and the skyrocketing cost of living, which I will address. So those are the big 4 issues that give me the credibility, and I'm the only tried and true New Yorker. Look, Eric Adams lives over in Fort Lee. Andrew Cuomo, who remains in the race, hasn't lived in New York City since 1990. And Zohran Mamdani, he's a new arrival. He's gone back and forth to his country of origin, Uganda. That's okay. But I'm the only real tried and true New Yorker who's grown up my entire life in New York and know everything about all 350 neighborhoods. Well, number one, the big problem of my generation, the baby boomers, is that they are not actively recruiting millennials, hipsters, Gen Zers. They look upon them as being immediately in the camp of Zohran Mamdani because of his skills in social networking. But if you look at the presidential election, Donald Trump went after millennials, went after Gen Z, mostly males, some females, and was able to convert them from being Democrats, from birth to the grave. No, they suddenly made the transition. And I already have that ability, having recruited young men and young women into the ranks of the Guardian Angels for 46 years, not just in this city, but in 13 countries and 130 cities. So I know how to appeal to young people. The biggest problem is my baby boomer generation, Cuomo who ran, Eric Adams who ran, they basically talk about millennials, hipsters, and Gen Zs as if they're lazy, they don't understand, they're not intelligent, they're not motivated. They couldn't be more hopelessly wrong. And if you do that, you basically are pushing them into the camp of Zohran Mamdani, who's more than willing to accept them because he's one of them and he understands them culturally. And it is, as AOC said, a generational divide. And I've crossed that divide many, many, many times over as a baby boomer myself. It means that I just have to up my game now that I'm in the general election. Remember, nobody knew that I was running because nobody would run against me in the Republican primary. Eric Adams had that opportunity. He chose not to because his polling indicated that Curtis Sliwa would not only defeat him, but it would be an embarrassing defeat. So now I have the resource. I will get the matching funds in mid-July. I will be able to compete. I'm in the streets. And the one place that Zohran Mamdani is not, nor any of the other candidates, I live in the subways. And that is the melting pot for all people in New York City, the blue-collar working class, the hipsters, the millennials, Gen Z, and people who are baby boomers. And if you're not in the subway, which is a great focus group, you're not dealing with regular, average, everyday people, because as goes the subways, so goes New York City. It's our veins and arteries. And none of these candidates have any knowledge how to improve the quality of life there, care for the homeless and the destitute and the emotionally disturbed, because everybody wants to be a tough guy. You saw Zohran Mamdani with Tom Holland. I'm tough. Andrew Cuomo, I'm tough. Eric Adams, I'm tough. Well, I'm the toughest guy, but what we need is not just toughness. We need compassion, consideration, and somebody who dares to care. And that's been my whole life of service to the people of New York City. There's never been an independent line that protected animals. We want no-kill shelters. And most importantly, we want to put animal abusers in jail, lock them up and throw away the key. I'm the first candidate ever to run on a protect animals line. And that will attract a lot of moderate Democrats, some hipsters, some Generation Zs and millennials, and a lot of females who are very animal friendly and won't have to vote for me on the Republican line. Cats, dogs, as Mahatma Gandhi said, a society that does not take care of its animals does not take care of its people. Look at all our own homeless and emotionally disturbed that we allow to live in the streets, the parks, and the subways. Shame on all of us. Shame on Eric Adams, a failed mayor who had his chance. And because of him, we now have Zohran Mamdani. Well, they're all progressives. Remember, you have a public advocate, progressive. You'll have a controller who's progressive. You have a city council that's progressive. You have a state legislature that's progressive. You have to go into their neighborhoods, meet with them, have dialogue. And then what the mayor controls, if few other people control, is what is the lifeline for all politicians, no matter what their political ideology, discretionary funds. What do you need in your district? How can I help you get it? And let's agree to disagree on the other issues. But if I need your help, now that I'm helping you and your community, will you at least consider helping me at a time where I may need your vote? That's the language that politicians understand. Eric Adams never did that. The only way to get him into your neighborhood was open up a nightclub and give him everything free, free, free to the break of dawn. He's opened up more migrant shelters since. He signed $1 billion away in no bid contracts. I say whenever Eric Adams signs a no bid contract, look for the kickbacks. The guy is so corrupt that when he dies of greed, you'll need a Black & Decker power drill to drill him into the cemetery ground. You know, they call him a communist, socialist, a supporter of terrorist groups. I prefer to just say, look at Chicago, the socialist Mayor Johnson. He's tried to do everything that Zohran Mamdani is talking about, and it's been a miserable failure. Just go to Chicago and see the results of what a socialist mayor will not be able to do for you. And although there it's Johnson, they're like birds of a feather. They're together. Zohran Mamdani will deliver the same results. There's a lot of promise, but there's no delivery.